So welcome to a really rather windy and unpredictable Poland as we're here for the new Skoda Fabia. It's actually a really nice car. It's bigger than it ever was. Longer wheelbase, wider. The track, everything has grown on the car considerably. So now these Skoda Fabias are nearly like as big as, I don't know, a Skoda Octavia it feels inside. It's such a big car now. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you know, you still want something small and nippy to get around because there isn't a city go anymore, so this is the smallest of the range. Started out with a Favorite way back in the 80s, and they've grown up and just became known as the Fabia when it got to about into the mid-90s before it became known as a Fabia. We've actually only really had 3 Fabias since then. The predecessor to this one, I drove that back from Lisbon for 3 days to Ireland for Skoda the last time, and now it's come to this, where I've come to Poland to drive it again. It's turned into a kind of sporty, cheeky, mature car. It's really cool to still see a straight-up petrol. There is a choice of engines to go with it. This one's a 1-litre DSG. It works perfectly well, completely cosseted from the road. We'll see that in a few minutes on the road. Let's have a little look around the exterior of the car though and see how it looks from the outside.
The latest generation of the Fabia has a good overall design, improved dynamics and numerous new assistance systems. Now it's based on the MQB A0 platform. The Fabia is longer, and at 4.108mm it exceeds the 4-metre mark for the first time. The boot is also quite big at this stage as well. It has gained an additional 50 litres. It's now a capacious 380 litres.
It's really comfortable. I mean, what's happening right now is that this car is so well planted and suspension is so soft that you don't know you're in a small 5-door hatchback, and that is kind of missing the point of 5-door hatchbacks, which are meant to be a little bit fun, a little bit edgy, a little bit firm, you know, because you think of kind of, I won't say hot hatches, but if you just take standard 5-door hatchbacks, they tend to be made hot whether you want them to be hot or not. Lads do them up, you know. But this one feels like a car's already done up, but it actually feels very soft. That's very comfortable, but it's not great for handling. Handling is where a 5-door hatchback wins or loses.
So the small 5-door hatchback now handles a little bit more like a big size hatchback, and that's kind of taken away the point of these cars, because they are meant to be somewhat sporty, somewhat alive and entertaining to drive. We still have a petrol engine, but it seems to be a little bit lacking on these modern small 5-door hatches.
I mean, if you're not buying for handling, then, well, buy an Octavia because it's a bigger car entirely. But this now seems to be the hatchback Octavia nearly. It feels like a big substantial car, but it's a small 5-door hatch. I do like the single spoke steering wheel with just the 2 bars going across, nothing in the centre. It's a little bit different. I like the designation of Fabia here on the top of the dashboard on both sides. It gives that kind of, I don't know, just a cool sort of vibe is up there. You can uniquely identify the car then from other cars. It doesn't look like it's fallen far from the tree of Skoda, or Skoda as it's properly called, because you know, you can see it's definitely a Skoda. You can see it's definitely Fabia. It's got a different face to it. It's got a different 2-tone roof. It's got a lot of little different bits in it too.
Okay, let's talk about engines. 5 petrol engines from the Volkswagen Group current EVO generation. They'll be offered including 2 naturally aspirated 1-litre MPI variants delivering 48 kilowatts and 59 kilowatts. There's also a turbocharged 1-litre TSI 70 kilowatt that is mated to a 6-speed transmission, and that'll also be on offer. For those who want automatic transmission, there is a very capable 7-speed DSG transmission, and you can stick that into the 1-litre TSI 81 kilowatt, or alternatively a more powerful 1.5 TSI 110 kilowatt.
DSG box, this one, and it is a super DSG box as per usual. I really love, like, I'd sooner be in basically any automatic on the road than any manual when you're stuck in traffic. I'm sorry to the purists out there who may believe for some strange reason that a manual is the only way to drive the car. You must have hairy chests and hairy hands and drive the car with a big stick in the middle of it. I don't think so. Modern DSG boxes are just lovely things to drive, and this one is no exception. It's very calm, very easy to drive. If you're going into traffic, you're going through Dublin city centre, Cork, Galway, Limerick, wherever it is, this just gets on with the gears. It just does it. So you don't have to think about it. You just stir a little cold scuttle and think about the clutch going up and down every minute. Just go. It's easy.
Skoda has sold more than 4.5 million Fabias worldwide, with 22,079 of them sold in Ireland since 1999. The most common reason for buying a Fabia included is value for money, low running costs and an impressive amount of space.
But it's a nice interior, so if it's the one you got, it's actually a pretty good interior. There's nothing wrong in this at all. I do like it. It's got proper knobs there for the dual zone climate control, and it's got these nice little plastic binnacles and bits sticking off the dashboard which fit in perfectly with the rest of the car. Auto headlights, auto wipers. There's a sunroof in this one, or glass roof in this one, which is actually quite nice. Well, it is here in Poland. It's a dull day, possibly on a very sunny afternoon. It might not be quite as nice as sun streaming in the top, but you can close if you want to. Practical car, practical engine lineup as well, which I quite like, which we'll go into a little bit of detail now. I notice with car companies right now, when the launches have been on, there is no electric talk. There's no, well, we're bringing out an electric version of this later on. They're not, you see. They're bringing out these cars because they know that getting electric cars are a bit of a problem at the moment, and the appetite is not as high as people expected. I was in Germany last week, a remarkable low uptake of electric cars there. Very, very few of them. I'm here in Poland this week, exactly the same thing. Very, very few. Actually, I can't remember seeing an electric car here in Poland so far. We landed last night, so I didn't see a whole lot. I was in Gdansk last night. We've been out on the road all day today. I did a full hour's tour there, which took me into the bottom end of Gdansk, all up around by the Baltic. It was beautiful, just a beautiful drive on lovely little country roads. But I'm just coming to a place called Gdansk now, which is just a little small village up ahead. And I'm behind a bus, and there's cars behind me, there's cars and vans everywhere. Not a single one of them are electric. So I think there is a problem either with the grants or the prices or something that is stopping the average European buying in volume compared to Ireland. It'd be an interesting look to see per capita, you know, how many electric cars are being sold in the country, because I think we'd be pretty high now per capita. Little things that they've thrown into the mix as well. They've changed the name of active cruise control to a thing called travel assist. It used to be called active cruise control, which is just basically mapping the car in front of you and keeping up with it, and then if he slows down, it slows down. Now travel assist is more lane. It's a package of things. It's keeping in the lane, it's watching the traffic ahead of you, it's watching the traffic behind you. You got sensors looking backwards here to see if there's cars overtaking you or in your blind spot on both sides. All these things, this is all to do with travel assist. Now, the main drawback I have, and I love travel assist, don't get me wrong, on a motorway these things are phenomenal. They stop you speeding, you don't get tired, it never gets angry, it never gets road rage, it just gets on with its job. But there's a big problem with them, and the big problem is when the sensors are blocked on the car and the travel assist is not available, you lose all ability to do cruise control. All of it goes away. So if any of the sensors become damaged or blocked from dust or snow or sleet or anything that's on the front of the car that stops the sensors being able to see, you're out of luck, I'm afraid. You're going to have to use your right foot, and that means holding it in the one position for long periods of time, and it's a little bit tiring. So just bear that in mind if you're going to buy active cruise control or travel assist. They are a really good package. It's a good thing to have these days. Not only keeps you safe, but it also stops you. It just stops. It takes care of you. It's looking out for you. So it's a good option to buy, but you do lose all your cruise control if something happens to it. So actually, I suppose Skoda's made a very mature car here, which is kind of a strange way to think of a Fabia, which is meant to be a fun sort of 5-door hatchback. But it is actually a very mature car, and on reflection, I think this is actually where I would go now if I was looking for something to replace my own Seat Leon. We've always liked the Fabia, but this is just a nice mature package. We don't actually strictly have prices coming yet. It's going to be obviously competitive with everything else out there. We'll see how it gets on sort of into November region before we actually see it on the road. And once it's here, it's going to be here and it'll be sold out very quickly. The current run-out model of Fabia is actually running out very quickly. Supply has always been an issue for the Skoda and for everybody at the moment because, well, Brexit. We drive on the same side of the road as the UK, so we get the same sided cars as the UK. And, well, the UK has a different way of, it's complicated at the moment for supply for any car, and it's the same for these ones. Supply is going to be an issue. This is a lovely little car, and I really do like it. I really think this is a good, honest offering from Skoda, and they've done a good job with it. Anyway, I'm going to go off and get myself a drink. Thank you very much for joining me, and until the next time, I will see you on the far side. Somewhere in Poland, to find out where I am. Nice building though, right?